Hi and welcome. This is Layla from Elevate Life, and you are watching the online learning channel. Done every Tuesday, bringing you classes to help you with your spiritual and healing practice. Today, we're going to be focusing on crown cap removal, which is a very, very important step to any healing session. If you are going to bypass this step, you are not going to have desired results with your clients. So first we need to talk about what the procedure is leading up to a healing session, and this is really important. So before you do any work, you must be prepared, and that includes you and your space. So you want to make sure that you wash your hands before the session because energy stays on the hands. And what I do is I wash my hands up to my elbows with cold water, and then I place some lavender oil on my hands and I rub it into my skin, which acts almost like the violet flame as well. You want to ensure that you've done your rituals to protect yourself and increase your energy, and ensure that your space is neat. Remember, you are representing the light, so do not have a cluttered and messy space that doesn't represent the light very well. Have some water for your client and tissues because they might get teary when the energies increase or the angels step in. Okay. Right, so now we want to prepare the space. So it is important for you to make sure that there's no residual negative energy in your space. If you have not seen any of my videos before and you don't know how to do the burning of the bowl of Epsom salts and surgical spirits to create a vortex of clearing energy, you need to go and learn about that. There's also an online class on my online academy that is for free, so I'm going to put the link in the description below. So please make sure that you go and read that, because any healer starting out needs to know about that cool and easy technique. Preparing your space as well, it's important that if you can, sage or smudge the area. Now, smudging with sage or any sort of like herbal dried leaf smudge stick is very important. That when you're smudging, you want to smudge the room in a clockwise direction and fan the smoke so that it becomes very wafty. And remember that when you sage, you're only loosening the energy. So you need to make sure that you're either burning the bowl of Epsom salts and surgical spirits, or you're creating a portal to remove the negative energy. Okay, this is a big step that a lot of people miss. Saging and smudging only loosens. You still need to get rid of the negative energy. Okay, next part to preparing your space is to lay a sacred circle. Very, very important. I'll also put the link below to my previous video, how to create a sacred circle by first creating a magic circle. Later on in this online series, I'm going to be teaching you about how to do negative emotional cord cuttings and spell removals. And just remember that your sacred circle must be inactive for cord cuttings. Right. If you so desire, you can erect an altar. Now, this is a healing altar, and I'm going to go a little bit into that shortly. On your altar, you're going to have your tools. Okay, your tools would be like your dagger or your thami, your crystals, your healing wand, your bowl with your sage. And of course, with that, you're going to want to sage or smudge your tools. In other words, you want to clear the negative energy from your crystals and from your healing wand and from your thami or your dagger by using the hard smoke from the sage. And then, of course, do your rituals. Rituals, they're very, very important, especially about increasing energy in your space and, of course, preparing you energetically for the work that you're going to be doing. The rituals that you can do are things like the affirmation to healing, which I covered in my previous video, how to create a sacred circle. And then, of course, you can bring in Archangel Michael and do the Archangel Michael clearing, the Kabbalistic cross for protection. You can do the prayer of protection. And if you want to, you can do the 7 directional pentagrams. Good. All right. So the energy balancing procedure that I teach basically starts off with greeting your clients, and I say hug heart to heart because this creates a connection. Now, a lot of people naturally want to come and hug on the right hand, on the wrong side, opposite to where the heart is. But when you hug heart to heart, you create a beautiful connection. You immediately let your client know that they're safe in your space. So preempt that they're not going to want to hug that way, and already place your body in such a position that they're forced to hug you heart to heart. And when you do hug them, just take a nice deep breath in and just release it slowly, just feeling that heart connection. You're going to find that you have a much better healing session with your client if you do this. So step number 1, hug heart to heart and greet your client. Then you're going to check for a crown cap, and if there is one present, you're going to remove it. Okay, so that's what I'm teaching you today. The procedure for like a good energy balancing session with your client would then move into checking the central column, doing the lotus petal balancing, checking elemental and magnetic lines, clear the etheric hairs in the aura, remove shoulder and leg pins, negative crystals, and then finish it off with auric healing. Okay. So let's get on to erecting your altar. Now, your altar can go either in the north or the south. This is how I was taught, and I like to put my altar in the south because that's where fire is, and those who know me know that I'm all about fire. So your altar should ideally contain the following: pyrite, if you can. It's those little square silver-looking crystals. Put one in each corner because this demarcates the area for the altar. Earth is represented by any sort of like crystal, or you could put a bag or a bowl of earth, anything that would represent earth for you. Okay, so earth goes in the north. In the east, you've got air. So I usually use an incense stick to represent air. The candle is obviously fire, so we put that in the south. And then west is represented by water. So I usually use a bowl of water, but if I don't have a bowl of water, I then use one of my crystals that represents water. I have my thami or my dagger on my altar because I use it for my emotional cord cutting, and of course for gridding and sealing my space, and for doing my spell removal. Nag Champa incense is really, really powerful. It's one of the only incenses that I like to use. I find that it's a smell that most people find enjoyable, unlike the cheaper sort of Indian incenses that can be quite pungent and almost have a bit of a urine smell. Nag Champa, if you have a look, is very sort of powdery and thick, and it's because it's got vibhuti on, which is essentially the etheric dust that gets pulled from between the dimensions. So I like to use Nag Champa incense. It's very high vibrational, but you can't always get your hands on it, so keep an eye out for it. On my altar, I've also got some sage, and then, sorry about that, and then of course, holy water. Now, you can create your own holy water, and I will be showing that in a video to come soon. Okay, great. It's also recommended that you have a nice altar cloth and maybe some flowers or some statues or figurines of deities and masters of light. Remember, this is your space where you are honoring spirit and you are connecting with spirit and higher selves and spirit guides and that. Okay. All right. So crown cap. What is a crown cap? Now, a crown cap is basically a structure that sits above the crown that is formed when the energy coming in slows down. Now, the energy would slow down because the person is more focused on the physical world and is not connecting with their soul as much as they should be or could be. So I compare it to that layer that forms on top of custard. If you make custard on the stove, remember in the old days we used to still make custard the old-fashioned way, and there would be a layer, a thick layer, same as like if you're making cheese sauce, I guess. That thick layer. It's the same with energy. If you're not connecting as much and you're very focused on the physical, that energy coming in through your crown chakra is going to slow down and it's going to start to form a layer. Now, it is possible for someone to send you a crown cap, but it's not the sort of thing that your average person thinks of. So this would be like higher ritual magic. And if I ever find that that crown cap has been sent to that person, I immediately know that there's darker energies at play. Anyway, so we're going to check for a crown cap. So the position of a crown cap is usually over the head, and to me it looks a little bit like a German helmet or like a footballer's helmet. It comes just like on where the third eye is, over the eyebrows, down underneath the ears, and then of course to the base of the skull at the back. So to feel for the crown cap, you're going to get your client to sit on a chair and stand behind your client and place your hands on their shoulders. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, visualize sending energy into your hands. This is chi energy. You're going to use chi energy to feel for etheric energy. Now slowly move your hands up on either side and feel if the energy feels stagnant. In other words, if you close your eyes and you just move your hands up on either side of their head, wherever your hands feel like they've reached a ceiling or a structure, or they just don't really want to move any further, that's going to tell you if there is a crown cap. So now we want to gently work the crown cap free using our fingers. So you're going to visualize where this crown cap is, and imagine that you're putting your fingers in the front section where the third eye is and lifting it out. Okay, lifting it up and out. You're not going to just remove the crown cap, you're going to loosen it first. So remember that in the front as well as at the back, there's like a hook. The crown cap almost comes in two pieces. So you're going to unhook it in the front, you're going to unhook it at the back, and you're going to work your fingers all the way around their head, visualizing that you're loosening it. Now I want you to place your hands by the ears facing upward and visualize that you're sending lubricating energy and light underneath the crown cap to like lubricate it, because if you just pull it off now, you're going to damage the energy there. This is the crown chakra, people. You want to make sure that you're gentle in this area. All right, so lubricate underneath the cap, and then imagine, okay, does that feel like it's loose? Yes. Okay, great. So then gently lift it up in one piece and then dump it. Now, when we're doing this kind of work, it's important for you to prepare your space, as I said, but also visualize that there's a lead box sitting next to you, sort of like a trash can or a dustbin. This lead box, you're going to dump whatever you are removing into that lead box, unless of course it's an entity, and that we're going to discuss in a different video. So lift off the crown cap and dump it into that lead box. Now you're going to pull down magnetic energy 3 times into the top of the head, okay? Good. All right, now if you have a look in, like there's a central column down the middle, and when people have had a crown cap there for a long time, it would get a little bit dusty. So we're going to want to clear that central column. So standing above the person on the side, okay, not directly behind them. And I want you to visualize that there's a pipe going all the way down, and you are going to blow with your breath into that pipe to clear it out. Now, this is very powerful. Now, please be aware, you don't want to be blowing your breath over the front of the person's face. Rather blow it from the side down over their ear, okay? So watch how I do it. Check to see if it's gone all the way through, and maybe do one last big blow. I always joke with the person and say, did you feel that go all the way through? And of course they'll feel it because their bum will whistle. All right, so you've just blown and cleared their central column now. Okay, and you felt all the energy go through. So now what we're going to do is we're going to re-establish the flow of light by toning the God name Aheye. So it's pronounced A, Hey, E. Now place your left hand on the person's left shoulder, and with your right arm, this is of course if you are right-handed. If it's the other way around, you're going to reverse this. With your right arm straight, follow the line of the energy down from above the person's head all the way down to the base of their neck. And you're going to do this for each syllable, the A, Hey, E, 3 times, toning in the scale of Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, La, Ti. I'm not joking. This is for real. Those are the toning sounds that you're going to make, but we're going to be toning in the A, Hey, E. So I'm going to show you. Starting up at the top, visualize that you're hooking the light, and then bring that energy with a straight arm down through the top of their head and into the base of their skull. Now the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, So, La, Ti is 7 sounds that you're making, okay? That's 1. Now we're going to do Hey, because that's the second part. Hey. Now the last part is E. So we're going to go E on for 6, and the last sound or the last tone is going to be the yay. This is a bit of a tricky one, so listen. E. Excuse my singing. But you can't hold back on this because it's all about toning. So you're going to want to do this as energetically and committed as possible so that the person really feels the benefit of you toning these sounds into their crown chakra. So we just did that, and that was once. Okay, so now we're going to do it a further 2 times, doing A, then Hey, then E. Okay, let's go. A, Hey, E. That's twice. One more time. A, Hey, E. Okay, so now the toning is done. So you're going to feel that there's a bit of like a static electricity around their crown. So just gently with your 4 fingers, fluff the etheric energy gently around their head, as if you're running your fingers through their hair, okay? And there you have just removed their crown cap. So you can ask your client now, if that worked, you should just be feeling a little lighter around the head. And I usually know when there's a crown cap on a person because I can see like the energies are coming in fully, and it sort of hits the crown cap and then it runs down the side. And usually if I ask a client, have you been suffering a bit from headaches and tension in your neck and stiffness, they always say yes. So there we go. Congratulations. You have just removed a crown cap. So go and practice on your loved ones. And yeah, you can't really remove your own crown cap if that's a question that's coming up, but you can definitely do this for your loved ones. And you'll be surprised how many people have actually got crown caps. So be sure to check this before you do any other energy work on your clients. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe to my channel so you can be alerted every time I go live. And please give it a like. And it would be great if you could share this with your other friends and people on your Facebook posts. Thank you so much. Be sure to check in again next week. Have a wonderful day.